Indeed, greetings unto you, my beloved and holy friend. Thank you so much for joining me again on another video. I always appreciate your presence so much. If you enjoy what it is we're doing here, consider liking the video, consider subscribing, and do leave a comment. I try and answer every single one of them. Let's melt more into being. So, the title that I set for the actual stream itself is talking about surrendering to life. And this is a suggestion that was made by one of our friends, Lee, actually. And he suggested that I talk about surrender. And even though I've talked about surrender, I think on day 58, like I think that was the title of the YouTube video at least. Talking about surrender definitely is something that I can revisit. And hey, there we go. Hey, Aaron, good morning to you as well, my friend. I think you're first, like literally first. Like, it doesn't even tell me on the counter that you friends are here yet. This is my bruh. You're my bruh as well. I want to read your name out loud, but it's mildly inappropriate. It is funny though. It really is funny though. It kind of makes me think of something forceful. Like, here, just do it. Yeah, so surrender. Before I start though, I want to say something worth saying. And there are actually a few things in this little white booklet of mine about surrender. So let's see how long it's going to take me to find something worth saying about surrendering. Remembrance. Responsibility. Here we go. Okay. So, desire, intention, allow, and surrender. This is the way. So specifically, I feel also in that order, because like maybe this is going to be a stream about desire as well again. But I think desire and surrender are like two sides of the coin. Like, they're definitely these contrasting situations, because in true surrendering, you accept even the things that you don't see as desirable, and you also accept everything else that could be desirable. That is what true surrendering means to your circumstances, to what life gives you at the end of the day. Because we definitely have desires as to how we want our lives to kind of play out. We have these preconceived notions as to what is a good life and what is a bad life, and then we kind of, we set ourselves up for failure a lot of the time to expect that is what's going to happen in our lives. So what I believe is very important, and through the lessons I've learned in my own life as well, I've seen how if I desire something with the right intention, not necessarily just desiring with an intention, because at the end of the day, you can have the desire of, companionship or intimacy, and your intention can just be to have that companionship and nothing further than that. And it could be something that could hurt you in your coming relationships if you did that over and over again. Didn't really have a clear intention for why it is you're activating or satisfying these desires of yourself. But if you have the right desire, you have the right intention, the first thing we have to start to do is to allow these things to happen in our lives. Because we sometimes have this almost self-destructive trait within us where we will desire something and we want something in our lives, but we also at the same time don't feel worthy of it, and then we don't allow it into our lives. So third step is allowing, and then the last and the final step in this completion of this circle almost is to surrender. So once you've allowed these things to happen in your life, is to surrender to what that is going to have manifest in your life. The things that you've desired with the right intention have allowed into your life, now you have to surrender to. And I feel like this is definitely something that I sometimes completely misunderstand, because I'll be doing things in my life, creating the circumstances that I'm going to experience, and then I don't want to surrender in that moment. I want to, run away from it. I want to change it in that moment. I want something to be different, instead of actually just surrendering and being with that moment, bringing my full self to that moment and just spending time in that moment. So surrender is definitely something that I feel we can all learn more about it's definitely something that takes practice, I feel. Allowing yourself to let go of your like tight grip to the things that you want in your life, the things that you think of as good, the things that you expect sometimes as well. Let me read some of your comments, my friends. Glad to see the streams are working properly now. I'm also actually very happy about that, Northern Lolo. And interestingly enough, I was like thinking about that just after this morning's dancing stream, because for the first time I think in like the last 8 dancing streams, I think today was the 9th dancing stream that I was like counting. It like the comments worked. Like there was no faulty comments. I could see all of them as they were coming through, and it made me so happy to just be able to use a feature that was working and then stopped working and now is working again. And I'm grateful that it is working, my friend. Put on the braai, Boetie. Are we going to braai tonight? I don't think so. I don't think so. Man, it was definitely a very chill weekend. I spent time ultra relaxing. I also actually like properly celebrated yesterday. For the first time ever, I celebrated myself. And like if it wasn't for the unconditional love that was shown to me as well, and if I didn't surrender to that unconditional love that was being shown to me, I don't think I would have allowed myself that luxury even. And like I feel it definitely was a sense of me surrendering to accepting that I'm worthy of my own love. I'm worthy of my own gratitude. I'm worthy of celebrating myself. And that realization was definitely a profound one for me. And I wouldn't have been able to come to it if it wasn't for you, friends. Wow. I can still see your faces in my head. I've watched your videos again, and I'm probably going to continue watching them for eternity. Oh, I almost took a sip of water. Thank you, friends. Yeah. Thank you for the wholesome, tactful chemist. I always appreciate it, my friend, and I'm happy that you're here as well. Hello, Mel. Really needed these vibes today. I've been a puddle of tears just before the stream started, and then I noticed the time, and I knew being here when I needed what I really needed. Being here is what I needed right now. Naomi, my friend, I'm here for you. We're here for you. What's going on? Why are you crying? What are you feeling? You're invited to open yourself up and to share with us, but I also want you to know that you are loved, loving and lovable, and that this thing that you're going through doesn't define you. It isn't you. It is just the way that you are feeling right now. Those feelings are 100% justified, and it's also a part of this whole divine experience that we get to live. I'm happy that you're here, my friend. I hope that I can put a smile on your face. I hope I can bring some calm to your soul. Another morning together, friends. Yes, Kiwi. Man, it feels like this is... I can't like wrap my head around how amazing the future is going to be for us as well. Just knowing that we have this place, I feel like there is definitely a part of myself that is now almost attached to this space and this time. And I know the word attachment isn't necessarily something that we should praise, and I try not to attach myself to anything or anyone, or any part of this physical reality. Try to recognize my soul, right, in these experiences. But what I mean with this attachment, and maybe it's me surrendering to this field of energy as well in some way, is just to know that I'm going to have a space in which we can express ourselves truly, understand each other truly, be able to feel the things that we feel within inside of ourselves, see how questions kind of affect us. Like, man, I didn't meditate today. I was walking towards my meditation spot, and my dad was standing in the kitchen, and I kind of like stood still for a second, and I asked him about what the seminar at church was about today. And he started like talking about what they learned at church today, and like he's really on this train of like a judgmental God, and he likes to ask me this question of like, oh, so if you don't believe this and that, and one day you're going to stand before this like judge, and if there isn't going to be somebody that like speaks you free, how are you going to like atone for all of your sins in your life? And what I believe is that a true loving God, the loving God that I at least believe is as loving as I believe our God, our universe, our source is, I don't believe that he can be in that same state judging, because if he created everything, literally everything, including the people that sinned, like, isn't it him creating those people that sinned as well? And if he's benevolent, then he knows all, and he knew that they were going to be sinful people as well. So my dad strongly believes in this notion that if you're if you're not in a certain way, in a very specific way in his eyes as well, like, I don't fall under his way of believing, so technically my soul is also damned. And it's a conversation I have with him so much, and it's definitely something that we bounce heads about. And like, I don't exactly know how else to deal with it than surrendering. And instead of meditating today, I realized, I felt within myself how I had this almost like need to escape this lecture that I was getting from my dad. And I didn't want to be there in that moment listening to how wrong I was. And then I realized I had that feeling of wanting to escape within myself. And then I was like, you know what? You should just surrender. You should just completely give yourself to this moment, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's something you don't want in your life right now, even if it's something that you feel is hurtful to you in a lot of ways as well. Just actually surrender to this moment and realize how it makes you feel. And in our conversations, one thing came up. I gave my dad the analogy. So my dad believes that God didn't create sin. He believes that sin is a human creation. So then I'm questioning, like, so do you believe that humans have more creative power, or have creative power other than the creative power that God has? So if God wasn't able to create sin, we wouldn't be able to create sin either, is at least my theory. And we were talking back and forth, and then I made the analogy of, imagine an infinite ocean, and this infinite ocean has little waves on it, and every now and then a wave has enough of an arc to have little droplets separate from the wave. And then in that moment, in our human mind, we can see that droplet. We even have a word for it, a droplet. We see it as something that is separate from the rest of this infinite ocean. And then we can look at this droplet and we identify it again in our egoic brain, our way of, like, naming things and then believing we know things. This droplet then falls towards the water again, and then re-emerges into that water, into that infinitude. So at what point is that droplet of water just a droplet, and at what point is it the entire ocean? And that is like the imagery I tried to put in my head, that of what I believe the infinitude of God, source, the universe, Abba, Allah, whatever word you want to use, is this infinite, creative, loving source that little pieces of separate and then imagine themselves as separate. That is what we are. We are these little drops imagining ourselves as separate. But then when we pass away, when this three-dimensional form dissolves, we again fall back into this infinite ocean, rejoining with our infinite source. And for me, that belief and that understanding, at least of God, for me, my personal belief of it gives me this very, very serene sense of understanding, of knowing that things are going to be okay, of not worrying about a physical death either so much, because in that physical death, I'm just going to melt into God again, right? So what is there to fear? But in my dad's mind, he has this idea of like this entity that is, benevolent and like watches over things and makes sure that you're living your way in this and this way. And he keeps like a very strict documenting. My dad believes this as well. Like, he keeps a record of every single second in which you sinned. And then at the end of your life, on the judgment day, then you're going to be judged for all of these horrible things that you've done. And like, I can't believe that to be true. If God is as loving as at least he claims to be, like, if he's all loving, then how do you judge the very thing that you've created so harshly that you want to separate it from your love? What I believe is that God doesn't want us to separate from, God doesn't want us to be separate from his love. It is people, or at least individual souls, that doesn't want God's love. And like, I think that is the thing that me and my dad have a little bit of a bumping of the heads on. He believes that God will separate you from his love, where I believe it is your individual divine choice whether you want to be separate or not. And it's a difficult conversation to have, and it is in surrendering that I feel I've gained so much calm and being able to have a conversation about stuff like that, because I tend to be a little bit hot-headed sometimes, or at least I used to be, with my way of expressing and my bullish nature of expressing my ideas. And I realized that is also not the way. This is something I've particularly started saying to my dad as well, is it's okay to have differing opinions. It's okay for you to believe what you want to believe, and it's okay for me to believe what I want to believe. And again, my dad brings up the thing about measuring. How do I measure this relationship with God I have? He says to me. And I'm like, how do you measure any of it? Like, we have these arbitrary ways of measuring ourselves, where we, put ourselves in inches or feet or centimeters. And I can say to the world, oh yeah, I'm, 179 centimeters tall, which is technically above average of the regular male. And then I'm like, oh yeah, look at me, I'm 3 centimeters taller than you. And it's so stupid, because of course it's this way of measurement. But then if I zoom out and I look at the planet, then I can't even see my human body, as small as it is. And what difference is 3 centimeters going to make comparatively to someone who is shorter than me? It's so backwards to to think you can measure something as vast as the love of God for us. Because at the end of the day, I believe we are literally living in the expression of love of God. Like everything, the very walls of the house you're living in, the trees growing outside, the grass, the water that we get to drink, expressions of God, and loving expressions of God as well. And I believe that everything is a loving expression of God, and just some things kind of tends to forget about that love, separate themselves from that love. But at the end of the day, it's still God separating himself from God. At least that's what I believe. That's what I feel is true to me. And it's okay. I've surrendered to that as well. I've surrendered to this not knowing. And at the end of the day, we can't know. None of these things that I've said is any based in fact, based in reality. Like none of these idealistic mindsets of what God could be technically should be even real, because our human minds can't process stuff like that. And then there's the whole argument of our human brains, whether or not it produces the actual consciousnesses that we experience. And I believe we don't. I believe our human brains maybe allow us to tune into higher levels of consciousness, but consciousness is something that permeates our entire universe. Surrender. Yeah, I'm taking sips of water to surrender. Every single sip, I'm gonna be surrendering more and more. We have to. I think that's the only thing we can do in this life as well. We have such a tendency to just struggle and make life so hard for ourselves unnecessarily, when at the end of the day, all we can really do is just surrender and take it in. Let it be. Meld, how are you, friend? I'm doing so well. Justin, I'm doing really, really well. I feel content. I feel very calm. I'm not in a happy mood. I'm not in an angry mood. I feel very almost like object oriented, direction driven, if that makes any sense. Meltmore, hey, truly yours. I'm happy that you're here, my friend. And JV is here as well. Thank you for the peace that you're sending me, my friend. You deserve it. Thank you. I appreciate you so much, Justin. You're really a radiant light in my life, my friend. Congrats to 100 plus streams. What a wonderful personal accomplishment. Thank you, Tramp. Abby, right? You're Abby, my friend. I feel it definitely is something that I can be proud of. Even though I have a hard time being proud of myself a lot of the time, I feel this is definitely something that I would have never knew possible. And I don't think it would be possible. I know it wouldn't be possible without all of you friends. I'm feeling very bad, very depressed, very gloomy. It's okay, no mix. It's completely okay, my friend. You have Justin sending you positive vibes. I'm sending you positive vibes, no mix. It's okay to feel depressed, bad, gloomy. Like these things, at the end of the day, I think the only thing that I can prescribe is to surrender to these feelings. Like, go, maybe even lay on the ground, like curl yourself up into the fetal position and cry, completely surrender. Like, just melt yourself into that sadness, into that gloomy feeling. Let yourself cry. Let yourself, feel those things intuitively instead of running away from them, instead of trying to suppress them by exposing yourself to entertainment, food, whatever. Just feel them. And this is something that I've been doing to myself as well, where if I feel sad, I'll like make myself cry. I'll be like, you know what? Let's get sad, dude. If you want to cry, I'm gonna cry. And allowing myself to feel these things, not forcing myself to feel these things, but recognizing that I'm supposed to feel something in that moment, and then surrendering to that feeling, surrendering to that experience, is at least the very best information or advice that I can give you, my friend. I have been crying because I know the day is coming very soon that I have to make the tough decision to put one of my pets to sleep before her quality of life gets any worse. One of your rats? I'm so sorry to hear that, Naomi. I'm so sorry to hear that. Like, again, the only thing that I can even think about is to surrender to that feeling as well. And this is definitely something that I needed to learn with the passing of two of my dogs in the last like 5 months. It was so emotional to me as well, and it was absolutely devastating. And the only way that I could cope with it was to surrender to those feelings as well. And I cried for days, just being completely destroyed by those feelings and allowing myself to be destroyed, allowing myself to be beaten to pieces. And then after I felt like I've grieved, I have surrendered to the grief that I was supposed to feel, that is when the healing started. That's when I've almost, through my grief, through my tears, have washed away all of the things that would stop me from getting better. And because I allowed myself to cry, because I allowed myself to grieve, I also in turn allowed myself to heal from that circumstance. So it's gonna get better, Naomi. It always gets better. I don't see much hope anymore. I've been fighting the fight for a long time. I'm tired of fighting it. Best wishes to everyone. Blessings. My friend, No Mix, I'm going to send you a direct message as well. Like, I am concerned about you, my friend. You are loved, loving, and lovable always and forever. And like, giving up on the fight, at the end of the day, it is going to be your choice. And it is going to be a divine choice as well. Because in the divine mind of God, giving up on the fight is also an experience that God would want to have. But I believe that you have so much to give the world. If you can, like, put a smile on one person's face, if you can do a kind deed, a loving deed for someone, you can literally change the world by that person in turn, doing a loving act, and then the person that they've done a loving act for, inspiring another loving act. I don't know where the quote is from, but it's something that actually it's a Harry Potter quote, I think. One selfless act always inspires another. So by being selfless, by being these saviors, and this is another conversation I had with my dad. My dad believes that there has to be this one savior, that it has to like ascend on earth and has to save all of humanity. I believe that we all have to be those saviors. Like, we can't expect like everyone to just be these, like helpless, begging for help type of human beings, just waiting to be saved by something bigger than us. If we don't lift our heads, accept the responsibility of being saviors ourselves, going out into the world and living as a savior to every single person that you meet, you listen to them, you accept them, you love them as a savior would, how can we expect this world to be saved if we're not willing to do that? So, like, you're loved, my friend. Know that you have nothing lacking, and you have friends here that would love to save you as well, and hopefully in turn you can save others. Please reach out for help, No Mix. I'm going to reach out for help, to help as well, best wishes to you as well. You have survived all of your worst days so far. I believe in you and your fight. Absolutely. Absolutely. And Nomix is, I think, a 60-year-old lady. So she's been fighting. She knows what she's about. She knows how to fight the fight. I'm definitely sending her a message to make sure she's okay. What makes me so happy to hear you're surrendering to the moment to listen to your dad. That was literally what I had to do, and I felt it was a very necessary thing as well. And he even commented on how calm I was in that moment, because I felt this like very very surreal sense of turmoil inside of myself, of wanting to get out of there, and then this other part of myself just telling me to relax, surrender, just melt, dude. And when I started doing that, when I started realizing that that was the lesson I was supposed to learn in that moment, that this was going to be my meditation, like that was almost how I was convincing myself in ways to stay as well. Like, this is your meditation, to confront these things, to talk about these things, to feel these things. And surrendering was the only way that I could come to terms with that. I feel like a God that judges people was created to make society, behave in a certain way, to scare people into acting the way they want. And it still works today. Northern Lowell, I agree completely. And that's why I want to say I'm against the Bible. I'm not against the Bible. The Bible has a lot of good values that it teaches to people through a really good story. And that's kind of the point of the Bible. But because it was this value system teaching device through stories, people saw the opportunity to use it as a tool into controlling the masses. There's I think it's a Marcus Aurelius quote, or a Seneca quote, or an Epictetus quote. I'm not exactly sure, but it says the fool believes religion, the wise man doesn't believe religion, the ruler sees religion as useful. And I believe that's what it was for a long time in history, where the rulers saw religion as this way to really reel in the masses, to make sure they behave in certain ways so that their cities can prosper. Because at the end of the day, teaching values to people is a very important thing. And like, a man is defined by his values as well, or a woman is defined by her values as well. Because what you value in life is what you're going to try and communicate to the world as well. If you value potatoes, you're going to be telling people about your fascination with potatoes, how you like them fried, how you like them crispy, how you like them mashed, because that's what you value. So what you value is what you choose to communicate to the world. And like, I feel the Bible has a bias for a certain type of mindset in it. And I feel like it definitely had a lot of the aspects of what a spiritual life could be, but it was like this very general like blueprint of what it could be. And what I believe, at least what I'm trying to do now, is to form a personal relationship with Source, with the universe, with God, with myself as well, instead of relying on an external source of writing that is going to tell me how I'm supposed to be feeling with my relationship with God, with my relationship with the life that I'm living as well. You're blowing my mind, Meld. I'm happy, my friend. Man, I feel like I'm not like even in this moment, I feel like I can witness growth with inside of the way that I think about things and feel about the things. And still, I feel because I'm growing, I recognize that I still have so much more growing to do. And I have to surrender to that as well. Surrender to that process, because it's not exactly something that I can press fast forward on and just kind of sit still and, go through my entire enlightenment process. No, it has to be a process. We have to go through it in every single day. My view is sin is a choice and God gave us choice. But that's my dad's view as well, my friend. But then he believes that God didn't create that sin, which, in my opinion, like, because the Bible's God has so many, in my opinion, contradictions to it. Like, the whole Adam and Eve scenario in its own is something that has so many logical fallacies to me that I can't really wrap my head around how that's supposed to work. Because, like, at the end of the day, God creates these innocent human beings, like basically human beings, and as said in the Bible, that don't know the difference between right and wrong. Okay? Then he also creates this garden with all of these edible fruits, and then one fruit that is going to give you the knowledge of what is right and wrong. Then he also creates Lucifer, the snake, whatever, and he allows him to be in that garden. Like, the infinitude of the universe, right? And God is this creator of this entire universe as well. Why didn't he just separate the devil, Lucifer, and humanity, which he claims to be his prized, possession? Why don't he just separate us, on both infinite sides of the universe? Anyway, I'm getting off track. Then, because God is all-knowing, and he created these beings without the knowledge of good or evil, and also the being that is going to mislead them, creating a scenario for them to betray him, which he created himself, and then punishing the whole of humanity because of the mistakes two people made. You see, like, it's so difficult for me to understand that, because, like, at the end of the day, then the initial one that was sinning was the devil, right? He was the one to sin first. But God had to know that he was going to do that as well when he created him, and he still chose for that to happen. So it was, in my opinion, a self-created experience because God wanted to experience that. But I don't know anything. That's at least what I think. That's what I feel makes the most sense to my small human brain. I'm late. You're not late, Ryan. You're here when you're supposed to be, my friend. I'm happy that you're here. I love you, Brother Bear, and I love all the Melt fam. Awesome videos. I will get mine in today. I'm happy, my friend. I look forward to seeing yours and your new place as well. I hope that you're feeling a little bit better. I hope that it's going, better with the thing that you told me. I won't go into detail, but know that I'm thinking about you actively, my friend. Going to get coffee creamer, listening while driving. That sounds good. That sounds good. Hey, Ryan, sending so much love. There we go. I love your way of thinking, man. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you sharing it with me as well. Hello, Estienne, my friend. Another gifted day of life and another stream of these beautiful people. Love the topic. It is your topic after all, Lee. I gave you credit, my friend. Even though, and I said it as well a little bit earlier, we did have this conversation. Interestingly enough, I don't think I knew as much as I do today, and it just shows me that, like, from day 58 up to now, like 43 days, I've already, like, grown in my understanding of what it means to truly surrender. And actively we will, right? We're just going to grow more and more in our understanding. Bro, we had a cool talk last summer. We were rocking some awesome dance moves. Great outlook. Thank you, my friend. I'm happy that you appreciate it. I look forward to spending some more time with you. Yes, let it be indeed. Greetings, Fred. Hey, Sign. Greetings to you as well. I haven't seen you in a while, my friend. Your streams have grown so much, man. We're growing, my friend. We are growing, and it is something that we're doing as a whole. Like, this is definitely not something that I'm doing alone. I've seen this growth in all of us, and it has really kind of confronted me with this idea that we're not separate. And the more I repeat it, the more I start to see it, and the more I see it, the more I can truly believe it. And then it's this constant flow of energy of realizing our unity with one another. I work to surrender from my need to control life, which is completely futile. I seek that control because life often hits me on my fears and insecurities, which cause feelings that are unpleasant. Yeah, and I think it's 100% necessary to feel those unpleasant feelings as well, Lee. Like, we definitely have this tendency to kind of get ourselves into our, negative spaces. And the thing is as well, the critic in our minds know exactly where our insecurities and fears lie, so it knows where to poke. So it's something that I actively ask myself as well, is where is these feelings coming from? Where are these feelings coming from? Are they coming from a place of like fear, a place of lack, a place of judgment, or are they coming from a place of love, forgiveness, and acceptance? And by trying at least to distinguish between where my energy is coming from and where my energy is going, I try to be a little bit more aware in every single moment. And it is difficult. It is something we're going to constantly battle with, my friend. And you're 55, Lee. I don't have to tell you anything, dude. You know, I'm still getting there, dude. You have 33 years on me, man. I'm still gonna get my ass kicked a lot, but now, fortunately, I get to have my ass kicked with all of you friends. I definitely had to surrender to the feelings today and let myself cry. Definitely. It's the only way, Naomi. Management Annie? Is it Lisa? No. Man, I'm getting bad at the names. Damn it. Want to remember. I remember. Is it Sarah? I think it might be Sarah. No, it's not Sarah. Oh, man. Remind me again, friend. Surrender isn't about giving up, it's about letting go of our attachments, which causes us pain. It actually takes enormous courage to surrender. You're so right, my friend. And like now that you said that, it kind of reminded me of a piece of like wisdom, I can say, from the Five Invitations. And he basically made this analogy. I think it's an analogy. I think I'm using that word maybe incorrectly, but anyway, where he said that if you're going to hold on to a cactus and grip it and get so angry that it's hurting you and refusing to let go of this cactus until it, apologizes profusely to you and says sorry for hurting you. So you're continually holding on to this cactus, just hurting yourself more and more because this cactus refuses to apologize to you. I feel that is literally what we do with life sometimes, where we just hold on to this, aspect of what happened to us, this aspect of what we're going through, and it hurts us and it hurts us and it hurts us, but we're not letting go. We're not surrendering to this feeling that we're supposed to feel. We're just, holding on to it and then hurting ourselves in turn more by doing so as well. I believe paying it forward, by doing good for others is what makes the world better. I believe completely the same thing, my friend. I try to each day to do one nice deed unnoticed for me, not for anyone else, to see if it cycles back around. I feel it makes me feel good. Good, my friend, and it's supposed to make you feel good. Being a good human being is good. It feels good. It's something that is so innate to us as well. I feel it doesn't need to be taught necessarily. I just think people need to recognize and realize that is something that is true within inside of themselves always. And it will come back flat. It will. I believe that as well. You are showing unconditional love. Definitely. Hey, Goldfish. I'm happy that you're here, my friend. Religion is an institution, man-made. I agree completely. Religion also creates separation. Yes, it does. Because religion creates this sense of holier than thou sometimes, oh yes, we are this and that, and you are so and cis. And it's this like we versus you type of situation, and then we have to go and convert them type of thing. And I agree completely. It's something that separates us. And war is just like that as well. Exactly, Justin. I wish everyone could be as free as someone in a wheelchair, flying with balloons and drinking Pepsi. Be positive, help others, and act. That's the strangest message I've seen all day, my friend. Yes, but I agree with your be positive and help others part. This is the way, my friend. Boom, nail on the head. Nail on the head, my friend. Hey, it's Kev again. This is deep. I love your dawn dancing. Thank you, my friend. I'm happy that you appreciate it. Like, this is definitely not dancing. Maybe dancing with ideas a little bit. Taking this idea and like going for a little bit of a jig and then being like, okay, thank you for this dance, and then going to another idea and then going for another jig. Victory over horseshit. Yeah, victory over horseshit indeed, my friend. Good day, loving individuals. Good day to you as well, my friend. How are you? Yeah, the Bible blames Eve. Exactly. Shake my head too, Justin. It literally creates this sense of like women are responsible. And to this day, you'll hear like some Christian men have this like notion of like, oh yeah, it's the women that is the problem, and that's why we're like suffering in this life, yada yada yada. And I'm like, uh, yeah, we will never understand those workings. Unfortunately, we can't, but we can try to, and we do try to as well. The Bible plagiarized other ancient stories. Hey, Lane! We're bashing on the Bible, it seems, my friend. It should be a topic that you enjoy. I hope that you're well, Lane. I'm sorry I missed your stream, dude. Like, I really wanted to be there, and then I was like literally checking Reddit after Kaval sent me a direct message telling me he's going to stream, and then I saw like 1 hour and 11 minutes your stream has ended, and I'm like, oh, Lane. But yeah, I'll be there for the next one, my friend. I hope you let me know. Todd Complex, Mel, good to see you. Always heading to work when I see you, but not today. Okay, I'm happy that you can be here for a little bit, my friend. I hope that you're staying, if only for a second. It is a Sunday, fortunately. I missed your stream, but catching up on it today. That's so beautiful. Thank you, Justin. You're religious? I'm not, my friend. I'm spiritual. Like, at least I believe the difference between religion and spiritualism is, in religion you kind of follow a certain teaching, a certain text as to what your relationship with God is supposed to be like, where I believe the spiritual life path is when you accept that you are one with the whole, and that your relationship with God has to come from yourself. God, the universe, source, whatever name you want to attach to this thing that's beyond us, this creative force that is beyond us. And where I believe that a lot of religion is rooted in dogma, I believe that spiritualism is a much more of an individual experience, an individual journey with the relationship they have with all of creation. And it is for this reason as well that I felt very separate in my journey at the start of these streams, and I have completely had my mind shifted that we are individuals, at least on this physical three-dimensional plane, pursuing this oneness, this intimate relationship with Source, with unity. And that is what spirituality is to me, at least, my friend. And I feel it is something a lot more transparent, at least versus religion, in my personal opinion. Oh, dude, looks like I missed Lane's stream too. Yeah, like he sent a message in the streams come through channel on the Discord, but he didn't like at anyone or everyone or me. So like I also didn't know. Lane, we want to see you stream, buddy. Like you can shake some cages, wake us up a little bit. Yes, we are not separate. We are not separate, my friend. Believe in whatever makes you feel positive. I mean, my friend Sal thinks he was a turtle running from a pterodactyl, and he is a great guy. Who says he wasn't, my friend? In the infinite experience that was, maybe at one point he was a turtle running from a pterodactyl. Yeah, pterodactyls. Like, I'm kind of imagining like this cartoonish turtle running on like two legs, with his like small little arms jiggling at the side, and then just these pterodactyls like flying behind him, like asking themselves, why doesn't he just hide in a shell? Why is he running on two legs? But I'm just over imagining it. In the infinite field of consciousness, he could have been that as well, my friend. I streamed really late, but don't worry, I plan on streaming more often. I look forward to seeing your streams. Like, you saying that you would consider streaming like once weekly, and your next stream being about your jacket. It's definitely one I look forward to. And friends, if you're interested, go and check out Lane's profile as well. I look forward to seeing you stream, my friend. I have the fresh air blowing into the house. And when it came the sound of birds bringing life back into the area, I feel the people in here would appreciate that share of a moment. I do, my friend, and I'm very sure the people in here do as well. New life, my friend. New life. Man, it makes me think of this again, and I've said this on stream before, but there's 5 Invitations snippet where they talk about playing music in the hospital every single time a child is born. Again, in the same way, showing, like, letting people realize, letting people recognize that there are new opportunities, new lives, new New potentials being born every single day. All we have to do is notice them, become aware of them. It's the way. Hey, Dubs, I'm happy that you're here, my friend. Yes, Lisa. Okay, so I was right. And I don't know why, but I tend to second guess myself with the names these last bit. Maybe it's because I'm trying to cram too many of them in my head, but I'm happy that I got it right. Hey, Lisa. One of my favorite things in life. Yay, Jovan, I'm happy that you're here as well, my friend. I struggle every day with trying not to judge or hold resentments. I feel resentments are some of the worst prisons for the soul, man. Try to forgive, move those resentments are controlling you. I agree completely, my friend. I like 100%. And this is something that I've talked a lot about. And the first time that I really kind of recognized just how much damage to my soul like a resentment did was when I had a fight with my brother, and I felt so separate from him. And in my free time, after that fight, I was like going over my head into like how I was gonna tell him off in this way, and then if he tried to swing at me, I was gonna dodge in this way and then swing back. And then I like kind of went through all of these scenarios, hurtful, hateful scenarios. And like at the end of the day, he wasn't experiencing those hurtful, hateful scenarios that I was going through, but I was putting myself through those potentially, not even potentially, I believe hurtful experiences for what? For like literally nothing. And I knew intrinsically and instinctively that he was going through the same thing as well. And I went to him and I told him, like, dude, like we're feeling these things, we're going through these scenarios in our heads, and why? Like we don't want to hurt each other. We're both like physically equipped individuals, like we would beat the living snot out of each other, but why? Like what are we going to benefit from it? We're going to have what do you call a blowoog? We're going to have bruised faces and broken bones maybe, but what's the point? Like there's no point in that resentment. It's only yourself again that you're hurting by holding onto that cactus. Don't wait for the cactus to say it's sorry for hurting you. Just let go of the cactus so that the healing may begin. This is the way, my friends. This is the way. Back from coffee, brother bear. I love you, and I love you all so much. I love you as well, Ryan. I hope your coffee is absolutely fantastic. Essay indeed, my friend. My cat has come to climb on me. Like actually climb on you? Like when you scratch your clothes and it like just, climbs up your legs. I hope it doesn't hurt, dude. Hello, Capital Locksmith. I appreciate you being here, my friend. What are you drinking? I'm drinking water that has little rocks in it. I've been collecting small rocks from like around the places that I stream and adding them to my water bottle. Just because I feel like every single time I do, I bring a little piece of energy that was residing there for who knows how many thousands of years, just kind of chilling. And then I make this conscious, intentional decision to take that thing that was there for thousands of years and make it a part of my routine. Let it imbue my water with the good vibes, if you will. Hey, Toasty. Hey, we have Toasty here as well, my friend. I'm happy that you're here, my friend. How are you? My friend? Where in Scandinavia? I live in South Africa, my friend. So, not in Scandinavia. Scandinavia, a cool place. I don't think we've had any friends from Scandinavia just yet. Can you call me your friend? You are my friend, Zanger. You're spending your time here with us. That qualifies you for your friendship status. Like as soon as you walk into this room, you kind of get this, hello, I'm a friend. My name is, and then you write your name. So you're already a friend, my friend. Where do you find your shirts? I found them at the mall, dude. So like I can't really tell you more than this. Most of them aren't even branded. This one doesn't even have any logos or anything. So I can't tell you where to find them, my friend. Is your bro still upset about the cup? About the mortar and pestle? No, he's not actually. I actually like officially and properly apologize to him. And thank you for the hugs as well, Naomi. I appreciate it. And thank you for the hugs Northern Lowell, I appreciated my friends. So like, I remember there was like this tension between me and him, where he was very upset about, this thing, and like he was hurtful and he was pushing me away. And the only thing that I told him in that moment is that I still love you, regardless of the things that you tell me, regardless of the things you say to me. I still love you. And by repeating that over and over again, I felt like I was kind of distancing myself from the sensation or the feeling that there was separation between me and him. So I kind of recognized that feeling, and I went to him properly, and I actually apologized. I was like, Wessel, ek is jammer dat ek jou ding gebreek het. Dis nie my intensie gewees nie. Ek wou net vir jou sê dat ek jammer is. Like, sorry, brother, for breaking your... And I didn't even break it, I chipped it. But technically, it can be seen as no longer whole. So I apologized. I told him that it wasn't my intention to have that done. Like, it was a surprise to me when it happened as well. Like, I didn't want that to happen. And yeah, it kind of dissolved from there. But I also, during that whole process, continually and over again, like, made sure that he knows I actually care about him as a human being, making sure I spend time with him where appropriate, asking him questions, making sure he's okay as well. And then I went and apologized to I don't know, to make sure he knows that I'm coming from a genuine place, that I want to apologize to him because I want to fix the relationship, not for any other reason. You are a friend, Zangers. Yes, Justin. Thank you for letting our friend know. Thank you. You're welcome. Just let go of the cactus. Yeah, just let the cactus go, Kiwi. It's as easy as that, my friend. It's literally as easy as that. Where else can we follow you? So I have a YouTube channel as well, my friend, which we're working our way towards 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I've completely relaxed, the urgency almost to reach 1,000 subs, because like my year goal was to reach 1,000 subs on YouTube, and by like the second month we've already hit like 650 subs. So I was like, you know what, this is also, again, my mind's way of like wanting something to be in one way, and then the universe completely telling me like, you know what, there's so much more to life and so much more is going to happen than you could possibly know. So again, I've surrendered. I don't have this attachment anymore to reach certain goals in a certain period of time. My goal for this year is to extend myself out of love, and that is my intention, to completely give myself to the world from a place of love, for the intention of love, for the growth of love, and nothing else. No other reasons. So like, you being here, my friend, is support enough. We spend so much time trying to arrange our external world to make us feel better. If I just got this job, make this salary, got this boyfriend, girlfriend, I'll be happier. The fact is that fixing the inside is the only way to true happiness. You're completely on the nail, Lee. Like, that is something that I definitely had to spend some time in realizing as well. Like, for me, it really was kind of like that way. I was like working as a salesman. That was basically my first job. And since I'm decent at communicating, and I have this ability to mediate in a conversation, like, it definitely was something that I was good at, and it's something that I felt like I could thrive in. But then I was like, this doesn't feel like it's serving my soul's purpose. So I was like, maybe like teaching English is going to be the thing that's going to be for me, like, maybe I'm supposed to be a teacher. And I've always felt like a teacher as well, in the way that I interact with other people. So I was like, maybe I'm supposed to be a teacher, and went there. And also with like the different jobs also came different salaries, and I got paid significantly more working as a teacher than a salesman, interestingly enough. And new job, new salary, like a significant salary, again, no fixing of the way that I was feeling. And before that, it was like trying to find a girlfriend for me. I spent 2.5 years in a long, like a proper relationship where I believed that I was going to marry that woman as well, and I told her I was going to marry her. I felt completely that I was going to marry her, but at that point in my life, I was like a devout atheist, and I've been a devout atheist for our entire relationship as well. And she went into the relationship with me knowing that I was an atheist, and she ended the relationship with me because I was an atheist at that time. And again, I felt this like hole within inside of myself. So again, tried to plug it by finding a new girlfriend for myself. Trying to constantly escape this sense of lack that I had within myself. And it's only recently, like within the last 2 years, that I started realizing that I'm supposed to be looking more inwardly for that happiness that I'm looking for, that true happiness that I'm looking for. It's not going to be in the external world. You're so right, my friend. Holding on to cactuses, even if the cactuses have a small thorns or no thorns whatsoever, holding on to things, it's not going to be the way to make ourselves happy. It's in surrendering, letting go of the things that we think bring us happiness, that we allow ourselves to find happiness inside of ourselves. At least that's how I feel. From drinking the rock water. I've not yet, my friend, and I've been doing it for, I think it's now 80 days. So, like, maybe soon, my friend. Maybe it has like a 81 day like fuse time, and then it like reaches a critical mass. Rocks actually uh, are a natural water filter. I didn't know that, Lisa. That's really cool. I don't know if they're porous enough to filter my water, but they are noticeable. I know of them. I know of the intention that I put them with which I put them in my water bottle. So, like, that is where the energy comes from, for me at least. It's with that intentional, choice. Man, I have to go now mow the grass, but I have much love, but I have much love you and this chat. You are all beautiful. I love you as well, my friend. Thank you for spending the time here with us for as long as you did, and I look forward to seeing you again. where where we are real sick. I guess that's we are all sick. We are all sick. Yeah, we are all sick. No, we're not. We're not all sick. I think we definitely get born into a sick world in a lot of ways, but we get to heal ourselves in every single moment. I look forward to seeing you again. I got it, my friend. Yes, you are my friend. Didn't really think many would want to drop in. Maybe I'll stream again tonight or tomorrow to make up for it. I'll make sure to add everyone. Thank you, Lade. Of course, we want to see, my friend. We care about you. We love you. Like seeing your face, if even for a moment, sending a comment, making sure that you know that you're loved. This is what it's about. This is what we care about. What did you break? What did I break? How many countries in Africa have you visited? I've never broken anything in my entire life, actually, other than my nose. I've broken my nose before. It's actually a funny story. Can I tell it right now? I feel like I'm a little bit behind of comments. I'll tell the quick version. So, my family, or my dad and my mom, and I was the only child at that point. I think I was like 3 years old. So maybe my little brother was born by then, actually. Anyway, getting sidetracked. We went to these friends of my dad's, and they had like this little swimming pool. And in their swimming pool, they had these little water beetles. That's what we call them, waterbeesies. And they're like these little flat beetles that like glide over the water. And they make these little like boat lines, those little V lines. And they're sort of fascinating little creatures. But they're fast, like real fast. So I like saw them in the pool, and this uncle, as we called him, he told me that if I can catch one of those water beetles, he'll give me like $100, which was like $10. But for my like 3-year-old self, $100 is like me being a millionaire. Like I could go to the tuck shop like 10 times and like buy stuff that I wanted. So it was like a oh my goodness type of moment. So I went and I hunted for this water beetle, and as soon as I caught it, I was so excited. Those are guinea fowl. And as soon as I got it, I took it in my hand and I like sprinted towards where the adults were sitting, but they pulled shut the glass door. So I like went straight face into that glass door, broke my nose. And the first thing, even though I had a broken nose, the first thing I did, I was looking frantically for this little water beetle that I caught, because damn no, I'm gonna get my $10. But that is the only thing I've ever broken in my life. Any wild animals near? There are like some foxes or jackals. There are some warthogs. There are some kudus. There are some springbokkies. No, springbokkies. Duikers. There are some duikers. So a few wild animals, my friend, but none dangerous ones. How many countries in Africa have you visited? I've visited 4 other African countries, excluding South Africa. So 5 total African countries, my friend. He chipped his brother's mortar and pestle. That's the one. I appreciate you remembering. And not even the mortar and pestle, but the pestle itself, like a small side of the pestle. It doesn't affect the functionality of it, fortunately. But I do feel bad nonetheless. Afrikaans sounds so cool. Thank you for saying your apology in it. Thank you for listening, my friend. I appreciate it. Please do, Lane. I want to go back and watch the other one you did. I did notice your Unas Honest flag. I should send a picture of our flag in the living room. It's such a vibe. Like, oh man, Unas Honest creating a year's worth of like content as well as an experiment, right? Like, just so it can be deleted as well. Like, that is a profound intention. Really cool. Really cool. It's cool to have been a part of that as well. Like, I know their intention was not to have people re-upload it, and that they were going to be vigilant of people trying to re-upload it. And I've not actually even checked if people are trying to re-upload it. But it's cool to have lived in a time where something like that was a thing. I wonder if people will do it again. Maybe out of copying, but it's really cool to me. Love you all. I had to drop my wife off at work. She's still angry with me, and I don't understand. It's okay, Ryan. Let her be angry, friend. Surrender to her anger as well. Like, it's a sensitive thing, I feel. Like, there's definitely a lot of emotions and feelings and experiences going into this circumstance that you're both in right now. And I believe it would create a lot of confusion. Like, it's not something that you know necessarily how to process, or anything that you get like a booklet as to how you're supposed to deal with these things. So I think just give her some time, my friend. Nice outfit and style. I'm happy that you appreciate it, my friend. How do I tell my girlfriend TikTok is lame? So you say to her, girlfriend, this TikTok is lame. And then you've said it to her. I like TikTok is just another social media platform, my friend. Like, I think the only problem I really have with TikTok is that it caters to like trends. Like, you have to kind of, be in this trend to get exposure. Maybe that's the thing that I'm not so into. So maybe tell her that, my friend. Tell her TikTok is just this constant trend hyping platform. So if that is something that you enjoy seeing, you like seeing a new trend over and over and over again, even though it's the same thing with a little different of a spin on it, then that is why the information, why the content is something that people appreciate. How many times have you tripped? Oh, a bunch, my friend. I fall over all the time. When I was a kid, man, I tripped so hard, where I was running away from a bunch of bullies, and I felt like they were gonna kill me. And like I like had like a speed wobble, and I felt like on my stomach, and it knocked out all of the air in my body, and I was convinced that I was dying in that moment as well. So I was like laying on the ground, like heaving, trying to get my breath back. And the bullies were like standing over me, looking at me in my suffering, pitiful state, and they left me alone. So in that moment, I guess I also learned that running away from my problems could kind of let me stumble and fall harder than the problems themselves would have hurt me in the first place. Seems like a lot. Thank you, my friend. Give her love, Ryan. Understand, maybe she needs to feel her feelings. I agree as well. Countless times, lol, for me. I'm gonna have to do it countless more times as well. Too much talk about love in a world overflowing with shit. My friend, like, it's because the world is overflowing with shit that I'm trying to just, like, like throw the sand of love over the shit so the smell goes away. But if I'm going to be the only one with a shovel trying to shovel love over this bullshit that we've been dealt, like, I'm going to take a long time. So we should, help each other, take more shovels, get this love all up in it. Most believe happiness is outside of them. Unfortunately, most do. And it is something that's profitable for people to believe as well, because people that believe that happiness is outside of them is going to continually purchase the things that you sell them that you're telling them is going to make them happy. So it is intentional, my friend. It's the way it's designed to be. Maybe it's because the world is in lack of love. Yep, this is the reason. Literally, Justin. You tell her that it's lame, and if she doesn't comply, it's time for a new relationship. Man, Lane is a straight savage. Just with the iron fist. Absolutely not, wench. This TikToketh you've spoken of brings me great disdain. I need a rebound. Borg, what has been up, my friend? I feel like every single time you comment, you just comment for like a split second and then you're gone again. We don't get to have a chat, my friend. How have you been, Borg? Can you tell why you choose atheism over agnosticism? So, I was like technically in between those different ways of thinking. There's another one as well. Like, there was a bunch of different ones that I believe. Like, it started with, and I don't know exactly what the terminology for it was. Like, when I was brought up in a Christian home. So it went from believing that there was a God, that was, this God of mine, then believing there is a God, but he doesn't care, which I believe is a type of religion, then believing there's no God whatsoever, and that when we die, like, I believe that our consciousness is completely created in our brains, and then we die, we're just gone, we're rotting into the earth again. And what I believe now is a more transcendental relationship with God, one that I had to discover for myself, not one that anyone could have taught me. Atheism is the lack of belief. Agnosticism is a statement of knowledge. Okay, that's interesting. How come we cannot see in a microscope how emotions manifest? Because emotions are, I believe, something that's very complex in the way that it has more than just one pathway. I believe that our hearts, so this is something that I recently learned. Did you know there are more neural pathways from the heart to the brain than there are from the brain to the heart? So the heart is actively sending signals to our brains as well. And I think for that reason, emotions is more of a whole body thing than it is necessarily just a brain thing. So maybe that's why, my friend. Hey, sorry economics. Sorry economics, Gabriel, right? I think so. Is it Gabriel? I think it might be. Venus, we can, and we can measure it. Emotions and biochemical states. That's why we can give you a drug to make you happy. Yeah, like, you can give someone more serotonin and more dopamine, and they'll feel better. But I don't think it doesn't necessarily has to be emotion, because you can make someone feel horrible as well, and that would also be an emotional state. Can joy be measured? Where does it come from? If we cannot see it or observe it, how does it actually exist? Well, my friend, there are a lot of things that we can't see or observe that actually exist. Like, we have this extreme mass of dark energy and dark matter in our universe that we can literally see push our matter in our universe apart from each other, but we cannot witness it. So, like, the question of how can something exist we cannot see, our eyes are very feeble, dude. We see like a small little wavelength spectrum of what there is to see. And on top of that, we're not seeing colors even. We're just literally seeing different bandwidths of wavelengths and then interpreting those different bandwidths or different frequencies of wavelengths as information. So how can like what is that thing Jaden said once? How can how can you be real if my eyes aren't real or something like that, right? Yeah. Nothing is real, my friend, or and everything is as well. My what did you break question was uh, in relation to the story you told of apologizing to your brother. Oh, I didn't break anything of my brother's in that initial fight. Like that fight was a long, not that long ago. Like it was a spat over carrying stuff around, and it was a very stupid one. You mentioned something breaking something. I thought no, I didn't in that conversation, but I did in the previous one. Which African countries have you been to, and which do you recommend the most? So, I've already answered the questions of which ones I've been to, but I think Namibia and Mozambique are kind of like nice. Like Botswana as well. Zimbabwe is kind of wrecked. South Africa is kind of nice as well. I'd recommend South Africa above the other African countries, actually. Technically, we are a little bit more developed infrastructurally, that is. African countries, da, 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 I've already done one. Do you speak English or Afrikaans more in your daily life? Technically, I speak English a lot more these days than Afrikaans because I'm constantly talking for at least an hour and 20 minutes every single day, where you don't usually do that in Afrikaans. And yeah, so technically, I speak more English than I speak Afrikaans these days. And I have been for a very long time as well. I am home now and I love you all. Thanks, Meld, for the advice and insights to help me feel better. Thank you, Ryan, for listening and being here with us. Oh, I got the wind knocked out of me one time doing a belly flop in a swimming pool. Ugh. Those are the worst. There's the like you they can really leave you like in a like a state as well. Like because you're in water and then you don't have this like ability to breathe. It can be a little bit hectic. Hi Neo. Wei ni wa I ni. Yes, yes, Venus. I agree. Wei ni wa I ni. What he's talking about. I don't know. Uh, Thanks, brother Meld. I felt that it's gonna help. She said work, so I can be alone and finish moving. Yeah, my friend. I think like do that as well. Like get things in a nice way for her, and then when she comes home, like don't expect any resentment from her. Just expect love, even though she might not give you love, and you might disappoint yourself in your expectation. Expect it nonetheless. Go with the intention of wanting to receive love from her and being willing to give love to her as well. Da 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 da. You have it backwards. Atheism is a statement of knowledge that no godlike entity exists. Agnosticism is a lack of belief, an admission one cannot know one or the other without evidence. Okay, so it is literally backwards the way that he said it. That's really cool, my friend. Thank you for enlightening me on those terminologies as well. Gotta get out and enjoy this beautiful Seattle day. Thank you for creating this amazing space for all of us to connect and learn. I hope you all have a great day. Thank you, Lee. I appreciate you, my friend. I hope that you have a great day as well. Sound is the creation of all. I'm not sure of that. Even though everything kind of like follows some sort of vibrational frequency. And there's another friend that has also sent like our universe's music, and like there can be some truth to it, but I don't know if it's the ultimate truth. But then again, can we know what the ultimate truth is ever at all? Bye, Lee, and enjoy the day, Lee. Thank you, Justin and Jovan, for greeting our friend as well. If you were president of South Africa for a day, what would you do? If I was president of South Africa for a day, like I don't think I'd be able to do enough in a day, my friend. Unfortunately, like there's so much that is needing of fixing that I feel one day would be inadequate in my time to be able to change anything meaningful. But one day, and the problem is as well, like, is the thing I'm changing going to stay changed? That's going to be a difficult thing to regulate as well. But let's say I get the position to be president for a day and then change things permanently, and that they would stay that way after I'm no longer president as well. So, in that case, things that I would change is I would, one, redirect the way that taxes are being used so that it benefits the actual people of the communities that it's supposed to serve, and not the people that are, handling these tax monies. Because at the moment, like, we had like a few $1 billion fund, like COVID fund, that the civilization, or not the civilization, the citizens of South Africa didn't see a cent of. Literally in like 4 months, the government completely ransacked billions of dollars. And it's tragic. It's so tragic. And like, if I could change anything, I would change that, to give people a better quality of life, to give people, like, just like these stimulus checks that are being sent out in America. We have nothing like that in South Africa. Like, people are just living on the streets, literally going homeless, not being able to afford their rent, and the government has absolutely zero concern for any of those things. Do you dream in English or Afrikaans? That's a good question, Jovan. Particularly, I think I dream in English. Do I? Like, I'm trying to remember a recent dream that I had, and I think I dream mostly in English. Uh, but then when I'm like dreaming about family members and stuff, I'm sometimes dreaming in Afrikaans because they're usually speaking Afrikaans to me. Hey, Al, could I request one additional calming good vibes of being? I feel like such a taker, but I feel I was brought to you all just in the right moment. My friend, we're sending you so much good vibes. It's okay to want to take as well when you're in need, my friend. So, like, I believe we're a group of friends that's more than willing of giving to you in this moment. So please do take. You're loved, my friend. Loved, loving, lovable, and worthy of love forever and always. You are definitely here for a reason. I have definitely gained some calm from this morning, and I'm hoping to send some of that calming energy to you as well. There we go. Bruh, I got you, Discord. There we go, my friend. You've been invited. Uh, when I trains. When I trains, it pour. Oh, when it rains, it pours. Come join us in the Discord, my friend. You'll have even more friends. It has been so wonderful to get to catch up with everybody live the past several days. Tomorrow I go back to work. My Kiwi friend, you'll be missed. I look forward to next weekend when you can join us again. Sound is the end for some. Just read last night about sonar causing whale beachings. That's interesting. So are the whales following the sonar and then beaching themselves? Or are they beaching themselves with the use of sonar? Because their sonar is whack or something, maybe. Thank you for the love and light. Thank you for spending your life and light here with us as well, my friend QE. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. Mm. I am in the Discord. That's where the first set of vibes came from. Oh, okay. I'm happy that you're there already, my friend. Good South African accent. Is myne. Dis die Suid-Afrikaanse accent wat ek gekry het. Dus ek kan nie myself help nie. Dis maar net hoe ek praat. Thank you, my friend. I'm like basically saying I can't exactly help it. It's not like I had like a Rocky montage training. Like, I don't know why the Rocky montage training music. Like, as soon as I think of exercising to do something, like, that's the imagery that comes in my mind. Like, running up the stairs, just getting it. Not exactly something I had to do to get the accent, but I appreciate you appreciating it as well, my friend. My friends, our stream is coming to an end again. I appreciate your before we actually finish. I'm talking about the sonar pings of submarines and military equipment causing whales to want to escape it by beaching. That is absolutely sad. I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm sending those whales love and light as well, my friends. As I'm sending love and light to you, thank you for spending this time with me today, sharing this space. I always appreciate your presence so much. And I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow, my friends.